So Realty Income is now acquiring Spirit Realty. Now, this is a big acquisition here, and it's a full stock acquisition. No capital markets are going to be required. So we want to understand, what does this truly mean? Because we're getting multiple numbers out there, anything from a $5.3 billion deal all the way up to a $9.3 billion deal. So I'm going to try to make sense of this. The total deal in itself is $9.3 billion, with the assumption that Realty Income is going to take over the outstanding debt that Spirit has. So let's go off of the facts that we currently have. The facts are, for every one share of Spirit common stockholders, Realty Income is going to issue roughly 0.77 shares. Total outstanding shares are sitting at 141 million. So if we take 141 million shares outstanding and we multiply that by 0.77, we get right around 108 million shares that Realty Income is going to issue in order to acquire Spirit Realty, along with taking on the roughly $3.6 billion worth of debt. And I'm going to show you how we're getting to a total amount here. Currently, Realty Income was trading anywhere between $45 to roughly $50 a share. So we're going to multiply these outstanding shares by $50 a share, and we get $5.4 billion. So we can see how they're arriving at the $5.3 billion, basically getting a stock price around $49 a share, I'm guessing. And then they're also taking on the additional, go down to Spirit's balance sheet. You can see here that it's roughly $3.5 to $3.6 billion of debt. By 2024, total service debt is going to be just under $4.1 billion. And that's how we arrive at $9.3 billion deal. What is my opinion on this deal? I think it's a decent deal here for Realty Income. I think it's a good way for them to grow in a high interest rate environment. Yes, I do think it is a little bit expensive on the overall basis, but I actually think when we look at the rate markets right now, this is actually a pretty smart acquisition, especially if they can go in there and be better managers. Overall, I would say this is a pretty good deal on a net basis for Realty Income. Now, understanding that they're putting 100 million shares out on the market, the question is going to be, at what price would you be buying it? So when we look at Realty Income's outstanding shares, it's sitting at 708 million shares outstanding. But we know that there's going to be an additional roughly 108 to 110 million shares that's going to be added to this. So that's just under a 20% increase on share issuance. But the good news is it's going to add a little over 20% more revenue for the company and right around 15% free cash flow for the company as well. On this recent dip, actually becomes pretty interesting.